National Weather Service has issued a 3 out of 6 slight risk of severe weather for tomorrow, as strong severe thunderstorms will be moving through the area between 4 and 9 p.m. Here's all you need to know. Welcome to WBWC. Let's start here with our temperatures. Alright, so right now we are looking at the HRRR model here. As we move this forward, here's tomorrow. We got heating around 10 a.m. So we make it to noon. We have some areas that could be feeling like it's around the 90s, low 90s. Good day for the pool until we get around closer to 4 p.m. Starting to see these kind of cold areas right here. And that's where our storms are firing here. So this is around 4 p.m. We could be seeing a little bit of storm activity there in Frederick County as we move this forward. Again, we're just seeing, it almost looks like a cold front, but there is no front associated with these storms. It's purely just, there's a lot of storm fuel in the air that kind of needs to be used up, along with some decent dew points, or moisture. How these storms will be forming is there's going to be a boundary coming up Chesapeake Bay, as there usually is, and these storms will likely form along that boundary and then move east-southeast through our area. As it's 6 p.m. here, could be seeing some cold areas or storms in Frederick, Montgomery, Howard, Carroll, Baltimore County. Move this forward, 8 p.m., 9 p.m. it should be gone, but then we're just going to heat back up the next day and possibly have even more storms. Now let's look at the cloud cover. So as we pull it over, the white is where we have 100% cloud cover, right? So basically the white is where we have cloud cover. The kind of grayish is where we have partial cloud cover, and where you can just see straight through the map, like around here, that is 0% cloud cover. It's going to say no data, but that's 0% cloud cover. So let's move this forward. Moving this forward, here's around right now. We're starting to see some cloud cover really move through our area here. As we move this forward, here is tomorrow morning. We have a little bit of cloud cover going, but it should be relatively clear until around noon, to where we have just a widespread cloud cover unless you're really down here near Chesapeake Beach. And this will just basically continue until the storms. Basically, the cloud cover we're seeing here are the storms right here. So really just not that much time for these storms to really build back up that daytime heating again. There's a little period between like 4 and 6 p.m. around this area near Baltimore. This corridor between Baltimore, Columbia, Rockville, Germantown, and Eldersburg. There's really little corridor where we could be seeing a little bit elevated daytime heating, and those storms will move through. Now we're looking at what the satellite imagery could look like. Not the actual satellite, the infrared satellite. Here's 1 p.m. tomorrow. So we move this forward. Here we could see some storms firing up here near Philadelphia, and our storms down here near Frederick County, closer to Hagerstown. These will just blow up. We have another storm forming right here around 5 p.m. near Westminster. And just a whole bunch more storms forming over here near Frederick, Westminster, in between Germantown, Leesburg, up towards Bel Air and York, Lancaster, and these will move through Eldersburg, Owings Mills, Baltimore, Columbia, Reisterstown, Annapolis, Glen Burnie, Rockville, Bel Air, all these places. And so there's kind of what the infrared satellite could look like. Basically, the warmer the color here, so you can see we got this reds, these little red dots. That is, the warmer the color, the colder the colder it is there. So we can see, when you see these reds here, that can imply very tall clouds, very tall cloud tops. And that's kind of why meteorologists use this model to see how high the clouds are going to be, or how tall they're going to be, rather. Because the taller the cloud, the more robust the updraft is. And the updraft is what takes the energy on the ground and fuels it into the storm. So if you have a really strong updraft, you're going to have severe weather. Now let's look at our storm fuel, or the CAPE. As we move this forward, so it's 4 a.m. As daytime heating builds, we're going to see these blues, these greens start popping up here. This is 11 a.m. We have a widespread area of over 2,000 joules per kilograms of CAPE. That's in more English terms. That is a lot of energy. As we move this forward, these yellows are even more energy. We're seeing up the Chesapeake Bay along the coast here, we're seeing elevated CAPE values or storm fuel values. These yellows, we're seeing some near Frederick and stuff. This is 3 p.m. 4 p.m. we are seeing, we have a little bit of that energy get used around here near Rockville. But then here you have your storms coming through. And just a really potent environment over here near Bel Air and Baltimore and Edgewood and Annapolis. Just tons of CAPE over there, which could really intensify these storms as it hits that energy there. 7 p.m., 8 p.m., it's gone. So that could be really dangerous near Centerville and Chestertown, where it's directly feeling the effects of all that energy getting used. 2,500 to 3,000 CAPE could be possible along the Chesapeake Bay into Baltimore. Now we're looking at the spin in the atmosphere, the SRH, as they call it. So this is around 11 a.m. You see these really blue colors, these kind of faded blue colors. That's just pretty low. I mean, we're only seeing around 68 to 70 meters squared per second squared. You don't really need to know what that means. That is the spin in the air, okay? So we're only seeing around 68, which is pretty low. And it's going to remain pretty low. This is 1 p.m., we're not really seeing a lot of spin, which is why we're not expecting any organized activity here, along with the fact that there's going to be no front. But as we go here, we're going to have some localized areas of elevated spin. That's just because the storms are there. I mean, look, here we have a storm, we have elevated areas of spin, and that's just the atmosphere interacting with the storm's updraft. The big thing we have to worry about tomorrow is something called microbursts. Those are the same things that caused all that damage in Tawnytown, Eldersburg, Prince Frederick, and all those areas on July 4th. Those are microbursts. Those can produce up to 90 to 100 mile per hour winds. We could see those again here. So we can see some elevated areas of spin, especially over here. Just the storms interacting with that environment can cause a little bit of spin. No tornado risk is expected. Just want to show you, again, that's those storms using up what little environment here they have and just those storms interacting with the environment. Can really be visualized here. And Monday, again, we're not really seeing a whole lot of spin in the atmosphere, but again, here's just that storm interacting with the environment. Now that I told you about the environment these storms are working with, let's look at what the radar could actually look like. Here's noon tomorrow. So we move this forward. Here's your storms around 5 p.m. We have some across northern Frederick County and Carroll County. And this is just a possibility. There's a chance storms don't fire. We'll show you a model that actually does show that. But that is a possibility. Another possibility is this. Around 6 p.m. we're seeing scattered strong severe storms from Westminster, very northern Baltimore County, through Frederick County into Montgomery County. If we move this forward, this is when around the time it begins to interact with that Chesapeake Bay environment there. We saw those elevated CAPE values or storm fuel values. So around 7 p.m. we could be seeing impacts from Annapolis to Bel Air. And as we move this forward, you can see, it really just intensified. We're seeing maybe a little dot of white here and there. Now we're seeing purples. Those are just that storms intensifying rapidly, but this is out of our area. Could still see something here near Chesapeake Beach, though, at the very southern tip of Anne Arundel County. Could also be seeing some rain, showers, possibly a few rumbles of thunder. Not expecting this to be severe, but could see some rain showers, a couple rumbles of thunder around DC around this time at 8 p.m. And this will just be gone by 10, 11 p.m. But the severe storms should be out of here by around 8 to 9 p.m. I told you I have other models to show you, and here's another model. Here's the RFSA. So right now we are seeing this is around 3 p.m. We might be seeing some storms near here in Frederick County. And then these just expand, and we're basically seeing a very similar situation here. It interacts with that Chesapeake Bay area around 7 p.m. and really intensifies as it enters eastern Maryland. So it's a pretty similar situation here. Timing is a little off. You can see here, this is around 4 p.m. I believe HRRR had around 5 p.m. Would be crossing into Montgomery, Carroll, Baltimore, Howard County at 5 p.m. Other models showed it at 6 p.m. So really just be prepared between like 4 p.m. and 9 p.m. here. And then that will just continue and should be gone by again 9 p.m. Now this model isn't showing those showers near DC, so that's also a possibility that we don't see anything there. I've showed you two possibilities for tomorrow. Here's a third one. This one is showing nothing forming at all, really. I mean, 5 p.m., 6 p.m. At 5 p.m., the RRFSA had a line of storms going through Frederick, Carroll, Baltimore, Montgomery, Howard County. This one has nothing. HRRR had a line of storms going through those certain areas at 6 p.m. Just nothing here, so obviously it's a possibility nothing happens. We see something similar to this, just a couple isolated showers. But I don't think this is a likely scenario just because this is known as an outlier model solution. An outlier model solution is what you think it would be. It's a model solution that's not really... That's basically one, maybe two models showing while the rest of them are showing something completely different. And that's what we're kind of seeing here. So we'll see what these models show tomorrow. But for now, this one does look to be an outlier. Here's what the winds could look like here. We can see this line of storms again moving through here on the HRRR. And as it kind of hits that Baltimore County, Howard, Montgomery County area, we could see some pockets here of strong severe gusts closer to Owings Mills and Eldersburg, up here towards very far northern Baltimore County into Pennsylvania, closer to York. And then again near Germantown, Gaithersburg, could see a pocket of strong severe wind gusts around 6 p.m., 5 p.m. Could be seeing something here around Tawnytown. To move this forward, definitely seeing some stuff near Glen Burnie, Annapolis, Baltimore, Bel Air. As we move this forward even more, this is when that kind of hits that Chesapeake Bay energy, and we're seeing some severe wind gusts here near Centerville. And south of DC, we could be seeing some wind gusts down there as well. But the strong severe wind gusts should be gone by then, but here we are at 2 p.m. We could be seeing some strong severe wind gusts around this area, but again, we're not looking at too much. That's everything weather related I have for you today. Hope you enjoyed. We have possibly another update coming tomorrow. And thank you for tuning in to WBWC.